It's enough, I think. It's enough, I think.
Is this really what we pay them for? How to provoke the other nuclear superpower with 6,000 nuclear weapons and then wonder why the hand of the doomsday clock is 89 seconds to midnight? These people are crazy. Honestly, it's very, very dangerous. So I know nobody told me how long to speak, and I tend to speak about 6 hours. So I'm going to stop very shortly. Let me just say that all the major conflicts can be ended straightforwardly. The Ukraine war, the casus belli of the Ukraine war is NATO enlargement, US coup, CIA operations all over Ukraine. Even the New York Times reported that one a couple of months ago. We've got to stop.
Actors, we can make you believe we know what we're doing.
Stop actors.
When in fact,
We have to stop them.
Being in Russia's face. They know it. They know all of it. They were so kind as to post Victoria Nuland's call with Jeffrey Piot, choosing the next government. Thank you. They know all of it. They know who paid for the Maidan demonstrators. They've got everything. We've got to stop the provocations. And yes, by the way, there was no Russian demand for territory of any kind. Crimea, they wanted a 25-year lease, which they negotiated, President Putin and President Yanukovych. Not territory, not a claim. Even after the coup, Russia took back Crimea. No, NATO, you're not getting that base. But even when it came to the Donbass, they just said autonomy in this post-coup anti-Russia regime. The United States said no to that one, too. And incidentally, I'll share with you just one moment. In 2021, the war could have been avoided easily by President Biden saying to President Putin, NATO will not expand to Ukraine, and I will say so. And I called Jake Sullivan. He teaches at Harvard. It's all consistent after you fail in Washington. And I said, Jake, avoid a war. Stop NATO enlargement. It's ridiculous. It's useless. Would you like it on the Rio Grande in Mexico, a Russian military base? Said, Jeff, we have an open door policy for NATO. I said, Jake, give me a break. Open door policy. I repeated the Monroe Doctrine to no effect. And I said, Jake, stop the NATO enlargement. He said to me, Jeff, NATO's not going to enlarge to Ukraine. I said, Jake, we're going to have a war over something that's not going to happen? Why don't you say so? He said to me, don't worry, there's not going to be a war. Honestly, these people are not clever. They're not clever. What they're doing makes no sense. They don't know what they're doing. We don't know when Biden checked out, maybe already then. But in any event, they're not smart. They're getting us into trouble. So we could make peace in Ukraine. Yesterday was a hint of it, but you could see the president is so, everything about our media, about the Congress, about the military-industrial complex, whether he has the skill or not, I don't know. But if he were a communicator and had the guts, and what he should stand up and explain to the American people, this was about NATO enlargement, we're not going to do it. That would be the end. But he can't quite, he says it privately, I'm sure, but not publicly. Why? Because we're still trapped. We're trapped as Eisenhower told us we're trapped. And all these think tanks up and down the East Coast are bought the same way. It's all phony. Everything you hear about, the data, there was a report recently about Russia's casualties being X times that of Ukraine by one of the Washington think tanks. So I looked at it was absurd. So I looked at the footnote. Where'd that come from? The footnote came from the Ministry of Defense of Britain. I was already suspicious. So then I went to the Ministry of Defense of Britain and after a little maneuvering, tracked down its source. It was Ukraine. Oh my God. They get paid for this. Of course, it's paid propaganda. Okay, Ukraine can be stopped when the President of the United States says publicly, NATO will not enlarge. He could add parentheses, it was a bad idea. If he wants, he could say, it wasn't my idea, it was their terrible ideas. He could say Obama did the coup, whatever he wants to say. But if he told the truth, the war will end. when it comes to the Middle East, oh God, practically speaking, we should vote today, tomorrow, Monday, in the UN Security Council for a state of Palestine. Alongside the state of Israel, you'd have 109. You would have 192 votes, and Israel would not have a veto, and it would be implemented. And I speak with top leaders across the world in my job, including throughout the Middle East, all of the governments, with Iran, with the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, with presidents of Islamic majority countries all over the world, Indonesia, Malaysia, throughout Africa. Everybody's ready for peace, except the zealots in Israel and the Israel lobby here in the United States. That's it. And peace could come the moment we tell the truth and tell them to stop the genocide, and we stop being complicit in the genocide too. It's not even complicated.
Bravo, Jeffrey Sachs.
Yeah,
So
Jeffrey
hey everybody, welcome to the Green Live stream. I'm your host Edie, and I'm here with my buddy Scott.
Hey everybody,
and
how's
thank
it
you, Hazel,
going?
for doing all our back end stuff.
Thank
We
you,
may
Hazel.
not get to the comments today because we have a hard stop at 1. We have 2 people that need to go at 1.
And we could probably talk about that for the entire hour. Oh my God.
Yeah, we
Jeffrey,
could.
he's the only sane one out there. And I think he makes a really good point. The entire thing is fake. Everything is fake. The think tanks, the reports, it's all propaganda. It's all propaganda. It's, oh my God.
And he mentioned Eisenhower. Eisenhower warned us about the military industrial complex.
Right.
I believe that's where that phrase actually came from.
Yeah,
he told us
he called
about it. Yeah. And and the whole thing's great, but definitely Jeffrey Sachs, that whole speech was fantastic. We couldn't play the whole thing, although I'd love to. We want to start a war with China. He goes, that's the stupidest idea in the history of the world.
And that's exactly things. Stupid, I think, is the key word. And that's what we're finding out. These politicians are actually kind of dumb. I mean, I don't mean dumb in like an insulting, well, how can you not insult by saying dumb? But they really don't know anything. Jake Sullivan is not really, I love that when Grayzone went after Jamal Bowman and asked him just basic questions about Ukraine. He didn't know any of it, and then again, it's like, how many people know that it was the Obama administration that orchestrated the Maidan coup in Ukraine? Obama, the one that never had a scandal.
Yeah.
The reason
how many people know that Biden could have had peace?
Right.
And decided not to. They decided to send Boris Johnson over there to put the kibosh on it,
Right. And that happened twice.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the last 2 peace presidents we had, when things started going back away from the doomsday clock, was JFK. Look what happened to him. And Nixon. So now, listening to Jeffrey Sachs, he probably has a whole bunch of stuff about how Watergate actually happened. They orchestrate these things to remove people they don't like.
Right.
That's the way it goes. And you think about the people that were murdered all around the same time in the 60s. JFK, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X.
And the movie they made out of the Watergate thing, the one journalist, they've tapped him to ties with intelligence CIA.
Oh man.
Yeah, the guy that everybody loves. I can't remember his name now. But again, it's like everything that you learn, Bernstein, everything that you learned growing up is a lie. Everything.
Well, and another thing that Jeffrey Sachs was talking about during that is that, the mistake we made was making the CIA intelligence and covert ops. Should have never done covert ops. And this is how we got where we are now.
And I was wrong. It was Woodward, not Bernstein. Woodward. Sorry,
Woodward and I thought it was Woodward and Bernstein.
No, I'm talking about the person with the connections.
I gotcha.
Woodward. It was Woodward.
Together we have a full knowledge of things. We help each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would love it if Jeffrey Sachs would run for president. Can you imagine how relieved the entire world would be if he was the one in charge right now? If he
Yeah,
was the one talking to Putin, if he was the one trying to negotiate peace, if he was the one going hard at Netanyahu and just putting an end to that bullshit, you know?
do you want to play the Sabby Sabbs? Because it's
Yeah.
exactly what we're talking about. Because it's really interesting. His answer's interesting, and not in a real positive way, but yeah, it's interesting. I would love to play that clip because I started this campaign. Oh, let's talk about Twitter viral videos. It's really difficult to get something to go viral. So I do have a graphic out there, and I try to post it whenever I can of, we want Jeffrey Sachs for the Green Party presidential candidate of 2028. So I got a graphic out there. Maybe I can even throw it up in the chat if I get around to it. But because he's the only voice of sanity. But this is Sabby Sabbs talking about the 2024 election.
Yeah. And the previous thing was Judging Freedom, and it was at the Ron Paul Institute, just so we cover all of it.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank you. So yeah, this is, and good for Sabby for getting Jeffrey Sachs. Yeah.
Go ahead with the Sabby.
Exactly. And to that point, you made a bold move in 2024 for the presidential election. You, I think, was the first person to publicly endorse Dr. Jill Stein, which I voted for as well. Did you receive any type of pushback or any type of criticism because you endorsed Jill Stein? And I'm asking because there are a number of people that are telling me even today, they're still getting flack from people for voting for Jill Stein or supporting Jill Stein. And I said to my audience that Jill Stein's campaign was the left campaign. It really was. And if you supported like a lot of those progressive policies, that was over at the Jill Stein campaign. I didn't see that at Kamala's campaign. I think Kamala blew it when she said that she wouldn't do anything different from Biden. I think she blew it when she said she wouldn't withhold weapons from Israel. And somehow, some people believe Trump when he said that he was going to end all of the wars, et cetera. But did you receive any type of pushback for endorsing Jill Stein?
Well, look, I have said that the Democrats and the Republicans, when it comes to foreign policy, what's the difference? One is warmongering. The other is warmongering. So, this is absolutely awful. Every presidency for the last, since at least Clinton, I've said, oh my God, can't they do better than this? I'm an unhappy camper, I have to tell you. Whenever I hear, oh, if the Democrats can just get back in, I was a Democrat for most of my life, but there's almost no one to talk to in the Democratic Party. You look at who are the real warmongers, it's almost always bipartisan. You have Lindsey Graham, who I regard as the stupidest senator in the U.S. Senate, and Richard Blumenthal, and they're always together, one on the Republican side, one on the Democratic side. And in general, there are very few politicians I like, by the way. I like Ro Khanna in the Congress. I like Rand Paul. He's a libertarian Republican, but he's honest and he's not warmongering and he's a nice guy and he's smart, by the way. But so many of the people that I'm supposed to like, because that was my political party, I gave up on. And I thought Biden was a terrible president, absolutely terrible. And I think Trump is, oh my God, I don't know how, I'm hoping we're going to survive this, but it's one after the other. They just don't do their job.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing to me about that is he didn't answer the question. He didn't talk about, did you get any flack for voting for Jill Stein? I think he got some flack because he didn't ever bring it up, right? I love what he said. But he didn't mention Jill.
Yeah. Democrats elected Donald Trump twice.
And the thing about, and him like saying something good about Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna has sold out in a million little tiny ways too. The guy, again, you can't survive in the Democratic Party and be, an actual progressive.
Yeah, unless you sell out.
Right.
We're not talking about voters. We're talking about people that join them and run on the Democratic ticket. You either have to sell out, and they will find all kinds of things to help you sell out, or they will get rid of you if you actually are honest and speak your mind.
And a really good example, like directly from the last speech, Ro Khanna had a bill. Now, I'm not sure the year, 2016, I don't know. It was a bill that did not allow our Ukraine funding to go to the Azov battalion, which is the Nazi battalion. Now, at that time, that was like one of the battalions. Well, now the guy that runs the whole ship was Azov. So, and is Ro Khanna yelling about that and screaming anymore? Hey, wait, stop funding the Nazis. Nope, he's silent. So it's a good indication of how they will sell out. They will sell out. That's what happens.
Yep.
But still.
And the reason that we talk about the Democratic Party, the leadership, more than we do the Republicans, because we're in Illinois. I'm sure it's different in different states, but they are, hell bent on not letting Green Party in. Like I know that we were going to talk about that a little later. Maybe we should bring this up now. Probably going out of order.
That's fine. We'll just go out of order. We're going to wing it.
Yeah. Here you go.
Yeah. Oh,
here's why.
That's special.
Yeah, the leader in the House, the minority leader,
right?
Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah,
being buddy with our friend and enemy. Apparently, America thinks it's a frenemy. Benjamin Netanyahu.
And just, you think about that, how disgusting that is. How does a man that is, our modern day Hitler. And we'll talk about how we shouldn't even be using the term Hitler. Our modern day King Leopold. He is our modern day King Leopold. And it's totally fine for Hakeem Jeffries to be standing there and shaking his hand. That tells you the level of sick corruption that goes on. And it's true, these politicians, they're pretty dumb, or they don't try to learn, because I always think, I already mentioned the one about Jamal Bowen. He knew nothing about Ukraine. I mean, these people just don't know anything. And I saw somebody challenge, maybe it was Jose Vega, who challenged Hakeem. And again, all that could come out of Hakeem's mouth was just talking points that you've heard 30 times before them say. That's all they can do. So that's why they're there. That's why they're there.
I swear, if you could see inside their head, it's like talking point 1, talking
right.
point 2.
Right.
This is what you say. No matter if this comes up, you say this. It doesn't even have to relate.
Right.
And we decided to kind of skip the redistricting thing, but this is the thing that relates to the Green Party. So Republicans are redistricting in Texas. Democrats are mad. So now Democrats want to do it. It's only supposed to happen after the census, which is every 10 years. But, now the rules are out the window because, he did it, so I got to do it now. It's that kind of thing. Well, they can't do it if we can't do it. So they're trying to gerrymander blue states to make sure Republicans lose seats. Any mention, they keep saying how we just want to make the map fair. Like any mention of letting the third parties have part of that map? No. Any mention of letting us get into, the elections easier and on the debate stage? No.
Hey, so if you would happen, I know this is, we're winging the show today. If you happen to have that graphic that we did on the requirements for ballot access for Illinois, if you don't, that's okay. But it's just this topic that just how, right. The redistricting stuff is this kind of little battle that goes on between the Democrats and the Republicans. They're both famous for it. If you look at any map of districts, they're the most insane things you've ever seen. And it's all based on, them just trying to gerrymander like insane amounts. But it's, it's just, again, it's a little game. It's a little game they play, but the main game when it comes to the Green Party is to keep any third party out, any independent out.
Yeah.
And
so I want to put up these while we're waiting on Hazel. Take your time, Hazel. So after this one, we have this one. There's the Democrats hiding out in some tunnel in Israel.
Yeah.
That's where they are on their break, by the way.
And right. And that's why I included it. I should have cut the text from the picture, but I wanted to save just the names. And right. So those are all the Democrats U.S. House representatives who went to Israel instead of going back to their districts for their town halls. Right. And that includes, doesn't have Illinois in here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just switched it. Hang on.
Oh, okay. Brad Schneider. So Brad Schneider
is
Alexandria. District 10. So Alexandra Keating Sofiakis is going to be running against Brad Schneider in District 10 in Illinois. So we're supporting her campaign. She's been on here a number of times, and maybe she's in the audience. I don't know. But yeah, so these people, it shows their priority. Their priority to their donors is AIPAC.
And thank you, Yvonne Scott. AIPAC is Jeffrey's top campaign donor.
Oh, see,
so do you think he's going to stop the war? Do you think he's going to put, our modern day Holocaust perpetrator? Think any of that's going to stop? That's why we're telling you this is our moment. We got to ditch the Dems and the Republicans. They're both gone off the rails, and work with the people that are like was at the Jeffrey Sachs thing. Not all people on the right are crazy. Some people just want a government that works. So here's our challenge: how Illinois suppresses third-party candidates, and this happens all over the country, but we have one of the worst. Average signatures needed for U.S. ballot access in Illinois. In other words, we need to get this many signatures to be able to be on the ballot to actually compete. So while they're out campaigning, because they, if you're a Republican, you only had to get 759, and if you're a Democrat, you only had to get 920. They could do that in a day.
Right. Yeah, one little event they have, and they're done.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, one of these no kings or whatever they had. There's enough people to get them on the ballot in a day. We have to get 16,778 on average. Some places are more, some places are less. And might as well double that, because Democrats in Illinois will challenge our signatures.
Right, in court.
We also have to raise money to make sure we can, deal with those challenges.
Yeah, right.
Thanks,
to pay for lawyers. Thanks, Hazel, for fighting that. I know, unplanned, but it's really important, and people need to know that. They love to say, "Oh, the Green Party only shows up every 4 years." We try to show up. It's brutal to show up. It's really difficult. And so these are the Republicans doing the same thing. I think they went there the week before or something. Yeah. And again, it's just, it's disgusting. And there's the leader of the House touching the wall. It's creepy. It's creepy and weird. But that's who controls our government. And I just want to say, you talked about, I know it sounds like I'm changing the subject, but it is about the Democratic Party. And I'm going to speak about Mamdani again. He voted for Kamala, right? Who was going to continue the genocide. So Arab Muslim guy votes for Kamala, who wants to continue the genocide. He just had meetings with the head of Chase and Obama. So good luck, folks. You can see where this is going. Gross. But what people don't understand is that's how the Democrats deal with their crimes. They don't try to make things better. What they do is they find ways that they can still get their audience to vote for them. So they find an Arab Muslim guy and they just promote him like crazy until he, gets famous, and then people still have hope. Oh my gosh, we have hope. We have Mamdani. Get ready, people. Same thing as AOC. Same thing as really Bernie. There's arguments of when Bernie sold out, and but it doesn't. It's the path that's the way they handle it.
And more importantly, it is taking up the energy that would be here.
Right.
They have the money. They have like the famous faces. They can push this narrative hard. The media is with, mainstream media is with them. The press is with them. We have to scratch for every little thing that we do.
Right.
And that is a space that people will be flocking to us were they not doing that. So please, please, please reject them. And if you want to go to those protests, fine. but go there and organize actions that are not for the Democratic Party. Organize joining the Green Party, organize a strike, organize a boycott. Use their money against them, you know,
and understand the spaces they infiltrate and the spaces they create as infiltration. An example, this past week, DSA had their convention in Chicago, and their vote, they had 43% of the DSA still wanting to support Israel as they committed genocide. Okay, so DSA has a problem, a big problem. Yeah, maybe they won that vote. 43% of your members support the country that's committing a genocide. You got a problem, right? And again, that's the left space that people love to talk about, is the hope.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And I'm
know,
not,
kudos to the ones that are on the right side of it,
but
you got to do something about that.
No.
Man. Like, holy crap, you know?
unreal.
And you know, I would say Green Party spaces also have that. You go online, they're promoting Democrats. We should never be promoting any other party ever.
Yeah, a good point, Edie. We have to make
Ever.
it clear. It's not like the Green Party's filled with angels, okay? We got our own little internal battles. Every place has that, but I still feel, you know, looking at all the different spaces we've seen, and we talked about PSL, how they're putting up a candidates against Butch Ware in California. And, you know, I mean, it just seems, I still maintain the Green Party is the best place to be. Ain't perfect, not by any means, but it is, I think it's our best hope in terms of an organizing place for actual progressive change. So,
yes. And perfection is the enemy of doing.
oh, okay.
You know, perfection prevents you from being active. You're like, you know.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
I get that.
It's the enemy of good.
Oh.
So I did want to mention this.
Yes, horrific.
Journalists were killed in Gaza on purpose.
Yes.
And I don't know, we kind of skipped around a little bit, but I don't know, Hazel, if you've got that video ready.
Yeah, horrific. They were all killed. The entire staff that was in Gaza have been killed. And I think it was, I don't know if it was the same person who shot them all. I don't know the details.
It was a bomb.
Oh, it was a bomb. Okay.
It was a target strike.
Targeted, folks, targeted.
Yeah. They assassinated journalists.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And that used to, in the past, be that would be headline news everywhere around the world. But
the video is, Hazel's asking me which video. It is "The Truth Will Prevail." That was his last words. Al Jazeera mourns slain journalists killed in Israel strike 256 to 516.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Mr. Asif. Now we have Mu'min Al-Sharif from Gaza, from the tent, precisely the tent where Israel killed our colleagues. Mu'min, we express our sincere condolences to you and to all our colleagues in Palestine. The words, we have no words to express our condolences when it comes to Anas, Muhammad Qrika, Anas and Muhammad and Ibrahim and all the other colleagues. You have the floor.
Yeah.
Marsha's got the floor. Hey, let's teach us how to work with it. Don't you just hate that stuff?
Yeah, sorry.
In fact, sorrow and sadness is beyond words here in Gaza. All the words in all the languages of the world cannot express the missing and the tragedy following the martyrdom of Muhammad Qrika, Anas Al-Sharif, Ibrahim Dafir, and Nofel, and Mu'min Alewa, and our colleague Muhammad Al-Khaldi. Those heroes have documented for over the last 2 years all the crimes of the Israeli occupation in northern Gaza. They documented with voice and image, and they conveyed it to the whole world, hoping that they will move a finger in order to put an end to this genocide, to this killing and murdering that is targeting civilians, doctors, and journalists across the Strip. We are here standing in front of the tent where our colleagues were martyred, where they spent their last hours before They were killed by a missile from the Israeli army, and they all were killed after that. We are now saying goodbye and bidding farewell to our colleagues who exposed the occupation and the Israeli occupation forces, and to convey this image to the world, who did not try to change a thing. And we say that despite the threatening, we continue our mission, and we express our sincere condolences to all the martyrs, and we are determined to continue to convey the truth until the last breath.
It's really difficult. I mean, it's just all standards, as we watch this whole genocide take place, all the standards have been destroyed. All the things, all the rules of war, like bombing of hospitals, and it's all become normalized in schools, and starvation, and I mean, there's been a million war crimes in this process, and to see our government just be okay with it, it just, this is Fish, the famous
Mr. Fish.
Mr. Fish. This, it's so horrific that we are, witnessing it, and then you do feel so helpless. We've tried to push.
The answer is boycott. Find out these, do a little bit of research. I've posted on my Facebook 1 million times. Well, maybe not 1 million.
Yeah.
Probably 5 times. A place to start. Airbnb is one. Chevron, bookings.com, McDonald's, Coca-Cola. Just stop buying them. If everyone stops buying them, they will crumble. And then that crumbles the thing, the thing they're doing.
And it was interesting how Jeffrey Sachs, I mean, he's a diplomat, right? So he had talked about, declaring the Palestinian state at the state of Palestine at the UN. And, I guess I'm more like I want our military to go and invade, right? Now, unfortunately, they have to say, hey, guys, by the way, you're actually working for the other side now. Switch sides as you fly in. But,
Well, maybe our veterans.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I like that idea.
Because a veteran understands. If a veteran has ever been in country anywhere, they get it.
Yeah.
Unless they have been propagandized to the point that they can't think clearly.
But no, they have the experiences that we don't have, without a doubt. Yep.
But I also wanted to mention that on Decensored News, the State Department was questioned on Israeli assassination of Al Jazeera's Anas Al-Sharif and colleagues. Israel's targeted murder of Al Jazeera journalist Anas Al-Sharif and several of his colleagues on Sunday has drawn widespread condemnation and outrage, including from Reporters Without Borders, the Foreign Press Association, the Committee to Protect Journalists, and the UN Rights Office and UNESCO. Al Jazeera themselves called it yet another blatant and premeditated attack on press freedom and a desperate attempt to silence the voices exposing impending seizure and occupation of Gaza. And by the way, I did see some stuff that Israel is not, they're pulling back their troops. They've lost a lot of casualties. They can't keep people. I mean, there's 21-year-olds that are in charge of whole divisions,
I've heard there's a lot of suicides.
And there's a lot of suicide, as Mehdi Hassan has a live 15-minute Substack yesterday with 2 U.S. doctors working now in Gaza City. Hassan, in closing, said the doctors have now become repressed in Gaza.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, thank you, Hazel. That's good, because we need to keep it going. We're at 12:34. We got 20-something minutes.
I could share the town hall, because they were really outraged about this.
I think that's worth showing. And everything that we don't show you is in our show notes, by the way. Yeah, the Brian Steele.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
please
this is a Republican. And let me get it up there.
It's on X or Twitter. Khaleesi.
Here we go. That's the person who posted.
People have a right of free speech.
Can you make it bigger?
about that, Frank?
I have to say, shut up.
2 million people.
Whoa.
2 million people are starving. Do you have a heart? Do you have a heart? Show us your heart.
All right, we're a little bit over. I'm hoping we can take one more. So Nancy Frank from Elkhorn. Bring us home, Nancy.
I want to have you address the question that was shouted about the starving children in Gaza, but also
Let the woman get a question.
but also the hungry children in Wisconsin due to SNAP and food bank cuts.
Awesome.
First question that you asked, which is relates to the challenges that we've seen between Hamas and Israel. To me, the easy answer to address this crisis is for Hamas to surrender and release the hostages.
Oh my God.
That ends the war tonight. Israel was unfairly, unjustly attacked. Their civilians were killed and kidnapped by Hamas terrorists. Israel has a right to defend itself.
Can we please let her hear her answer?
I never saw Ukraine.
The gentlewoman has a right to hear the answer.
It's genocide. You believe in genocide? Genocide. Help us all. Do something about it.
We may disagree with this, and that's fine.
I just think it's really good to see the level that people are so angry.
Here's the thing. He does not have the right to disagree. His job is to represent his constituency. His constituency is telling him to stop the genocide. We can just disagree. No, he does not have that right.
Well, and it's just interesting to see the quality of people that we have in Congress. That's
that smirk, man.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. That's their job, is to do what their donors tell them, and then they have to go in front of a public and try to explain and come up with a reason as why there's funding a genocide and sit there and smile, right? But again, that's the people that we have representing us. That's how they got there. That's how they got there, people, because they knew that the people who want this to go on picked out, oh, look at this guy. He'll do whatever you pay him to do it. That girl will do whatever you pay her to do. That's what this is about. That's how they become successful politicians.
Yeah. So I have a challenge. Anybody that is with us and not that idiot on stage, we have 15 plus people watching. Please donate to the Illinois Green Party. California and Illinois, we are like the edge. If we can get it there where the Dems are strongest, oh my gosh, we need your help. We can't do it on our own. We need volunteers. You can go to ilgp.org, and you don't have to live in Illinois to donate. $10 a month. I'm asking for 26 for 2026. So please, please, please donate. That's my spiel, because that stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we got a hard road, but the exciting thing is that there's so many people in the Green Party and people are stepping up and joining the Green Party, and more than joining, getting active. That's really what we need, is people to be active, to go to the meetings, to get involved. There's so many millions of ways to get involved in the Green Party, and so that we can have a chance. Now, Illinois is one of the worst for ballot access, without a doubt, but other places. It is easier for them to get candidates in the ballot. So there's a lot of places, and certainly Butch Ware is one of the high profile ones, governor of California. Andy Ellis is running for governor in Maryland. Those are two very high profile ones.
And you can run here. We are trying to fill a 7 positions statewide. There's also local and, state house and stuff like that you could do. Let me go ahead and
give the spiel of the, because it's important for people to know. I just feel like They need to understand what it is for the Green Party to become a place where people can run candidates. Right now, it's really difficult. So we have 7 slate candidates. These are all statewide candidates that we can put on one petition, and we will be petitioning February through May of 2026 to get them on the ballot. We need 25, as the thing said, 25,000, and then really double because the Democrats will take us to court. So, and those are, you can help me with this, governor, lieutenant governor, who Edie is going to run for the lieutenant governor spot, secretary of state, attorney general, comptroller, treasurer.
And U.S. Senate.
U.S. Senate and the U.S. Senate.
Because it goes by like the people they represent. So all of those are statewide. Anything that's statewide, yes. But and you saw the U.S. House numbers. Maybe in 2 years, once we become an established party again, and who made up that rule? Why aren't we valid just because whatever, they work so hard to shut us out.
Right.
Illinois made up this established, you can't be on the ballot unless you're established, and your signatures can't go down unless you're an established party. Well, you have to get 5% of the governor's race. Their rules, not ours.
Right. And I'm sure that has to be the hardest requirement in the U.S. That's got to be, because we've talked to a whole bunch of states, and they'll be like, oh, well, you just have to raise $5,000 or 1% of any office, So it is brutal in Illinois, folks, brutal. So
if you think that's unfair, donate.
Yeah.
Run for office. Volunteer, please.
Folks, contact us if you want to run for office. And, I do talk to people and say, you can run for office for this reason, for this reason alone. Maybe you don't have experience. You don't feel like, oh, I'm not really. You can run for this reason because it's a legit reason. We need to be an established party in this state. And so you're running to do that, it's just, there are so many reasons to run, but it's to get rid of this insane duopoly that we have that ends up with this, where you saw the town hall.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to have time to get to everything, but I do want to cover a little bit of Land of the Free.
Okay.
We'll do the video, but I'll just briefly talk about the other two. So, we're not free. That's for sure. Hedges sued Obama. I thought he won, but I'm not sure. But it's because he tried to remove habeas corpus.
So what it was.
So I just want to read a section. But if we recall the government sacking of Associated Press offices in 2014, we might also entertain the possibility that editors know which stories to cover and which stories to pass on. Whatever the reason, the invisibility of a case so crucial to our freedoms and to the very character of our country certainly serves the purpose of the security state. Finally, we should consider the possibility that while we do not see troop transports of the National Guard racing through our streets, and while we may still be permitted to read and write critically of the government in this vein, we are already living under martial law. And I would say that has also went out the window.
And that's an excellent point. Again, we've said that so many times that the Democrats enable the Republicans. So that's a perfect example where Obama passed this thing that took out habeas corpus. Chris Hedges sued along with a few other folks. And the point they were making, it was like, well, it's not like we see them on the streets.
And now we do.
Right. And
the
National Guard. Sorry.
Those who don't know what habeas corpus is, it is your right to be in court. It's called produce the body.
Okay.
You have the right to be in court, to face your accusers and to face your charges.
So what happened was they won the initial case, and then a higher judge blocked it, and then the Supreme Court wouldn't take it. That was the history of what happened. So.
Wow, thanks for checking that out.
Yeah.
And then here's some place where you all can help. So if you want to bring up the major brands.
Oh, good.
So this is how we are not free. The 14th Amendment left a little loophole for people in jail, for prisons.
Right.
Did you find it, Hazel? So, yeah. So it's forced labor. You either get paid nothing or $1 a day or something like that. It's modern day slavery. what was the show back at the top, if you don't mind, Hazel? The companies that benefit. So when you go buy a Big Mac, or unfortunately, I didn't know about Kroger, so I guess I'm gonna have to figure out something else for my store. Like every time you dig, it's something else.
Oh my
You buy
God.
Coca-Cola, and so many other companies, use prison labor. They're using slave labor in here, Americans, people. This is what I'm saying.
And really just talking to some folks who have had prison experience, this isn't an exaggeration at all. This is, I think, like 95% of prisoners are doing labor, because that's the only way that they can get enough money to get like snacks out of the thing. I mean, they don't, the food quality has gone down over the decades. Again, I've talked to people from way in the past and what happens now. And so they feel like they have to, it's such, and again, we have private prisons on top of that to add to the problems. It costs the person calling in, if they want to call into their family member, it's an hourly rate. I mean, they are making money off these folks in every possible way. It's so disgusting, but it is so true. And I mean, I don't know, $1 a day might be not even less. It might even be less than that.
In California,
it's horrific. It's horrific.
They forced prisoners to go out and fight the wildfires.
Yeah.
For $1 a day, and then should they get out, they can't use that experience to get a firefighter job. It's the same thing they do to our military. You learn how to do something in the military, you come back to civilian life, that experience doesn't translate. You can't use that to get a job. So, what the hell's the point of any of it?
Yeah.
But I want to keep moving on because we're down to the wire here. Let's see. I wanted to talk about. So I just ran across this article on SharePost. Let's see who's doing that. So are these our job creators? That's always their excuse, right? Oh, we need to pay the CEO tons and tons and tons of money and give them a golden parachute because they're the job creators. U.S.-based companies announce record number of impending layoffs. This is by Elizabeth Wheel Greenberg from Truthout. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see the flag. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is good.
Status.
Yeah.
That feels like that status quo flag.
That is good. I do like
United Corporations of America, right?
That is so true. That is so true, folks. That's who runs our government, right? That is so true.
Yeah. Companies based in the U.S. announced in July that they plan to eliminate a record number of jobs, more than double the amount announced in the same month last year, according to a new report. The report from recruitment firm Challenger, Gray and Christmas tracks the U.S.-based employers' announcements about layoffs, which do not indicate the number of job losses that have occurred or when positions will be eliminated. These estimates can change based on a variety of factors, including, in the case of government layoffs, litigation. Chief economist at the Center on Budget and Policy. These are job cut announcements versus actual people losing a job. I call bullshit.
And the other thing I was going to add is I know they probably don't have any numbers yet. And again, the numbers can also lie quite a bit, but I have no doubt, because you just hear people talking. Nobody wants to come to this country. I mean, tourism is going to crash because people do not want to take a chance. And I know we won't get to cover everything, but what happened with the ICE going into DC over the weekend. I mean, it's just horrifically scary what's going on. And by the way, the DC mayor went to where's that vineyard? Martha's Vineyard. That's where she went for the weekend. While ICE comes in and just picks a random spot downtown and starts pulling everybody over, checking them and then also taking the homeless. I mean, it's just
you can pull that down.
Just the most horrific things are going on in this country. And like Jeffrey Sachs said, if we survive, I mean, this is the first time when it seems like things may really collapse.
Yeah. And if, we don't have to do this because we don't really have time, but I did put in the show notes from the Gray Zone. Trump uses Israel to justify controlled demolition of America.
Yeah.
Gray Zone is fantastic, by the way. And,
we can show some of it if you want.
Okay. Yeah, but you're not going to get to about the wildfires.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
As Hazel's putting it up, I could just say that this week, I'm the weather check person here. So the big story early in the week was the fires, the Canadian fires, and they stopped talking about it now because the hurricane. But it was up to like 13 million, I think, at one point. So it's
13
just
million acres.
Yeah, 30 million acres. And I think that's right. I mean, it was 6, 8 for a while. I think it got as high as 13. But the thing is, what it did was just make the air quality horrific in places like Minneapolis, Chicago. I know it went to the East Coast, probably was in New York for a couple of days, but just horrible air quality. And that's our summers now. And I had a little graphic. We don't have to put it up, but it really sparked it's just a chart of it's just a chart of humidity, and I had never seen them talk about humidity before. And to me, spending the summer in Chicago, that's what I'm feeling. Oh, stop asking candidates if they believe in climate change and start asking if they understand it. It's science, not Santa Claus, right? I mean, that's exactly. But the thing, and that really struck me, that the humidity is so horrific this summer. Oh, I got the wrong one. Sorry. In Chicago, maybe I didn't put it up, and they were just talking about how it's been the highest ever. And they had a chart that goes from the 1970s to today. And again, just going.
It just makes life horrible.
Oh, it's horrible. I mean, the humidity seems like worse than the heat, but that's what they say is a new thing and happen. And again, climate change related, because what's happening is there's more moisture. There's more moisture in the clouds from the added heat. I guess, I don't know.
I'm gonna since we didn't share the other thing that you had. It's James Hansen's latest warning, so y'all can look that up on your own.
Okay.
I'll put his name in the chat, but go ahead and play the next thing. Hazel.
Donald Trump is engaged in a controlled demolition of American institutions, and he's doing it on behalf of Israel. This was all part of the plan. He said he would do this. Trump is suspending $584 million in grants to UCLA, basically to the most advanced research institutions in the US, which are responsible for the US edge and the internet, for scientific research, for nanotechnology, any research that comes out of the US. And the UCLA's Mathematics Center is at the heart on the West Coast of advanced research institutions in the US. And he's cutting over $500 million because UCLA allowed a Palestine solidarity encampment to take place without criminalizing them, protesting the genocide in Gaza.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do it for you. It allows you to focus on your meetings.
And here we go with the AI again, by the way, which is
and then we have the whole
destroy our water.
Department of Homeland Security suspension of grants, federal disaster grants to states that allow companies to boycott Israel, which is actually protected under the First Amendment. This is the Homeland Security. They tried. There was an uproar, and Steve Bannon said this is a disgusting Israel first policy. And so they say there's no FEMA requirement tied to Israel in any current order. No states have lost funding. They're backpedaling, but then they say DHS will enforce all anti-discrimination laws and policies, including as it relates to the BDS movement. So they're still enforcing it on Israel's behalf, denying disaster aid if this hypothetical scenario, which isn't taking place, takes place. And what they're saying is that they're doing DEI for Israelis and Jews on universities and at the federal level, while they're attacking DEI or attacking, I would say, civil rights programs for everyone else. They're forcing Ivy League universities to hand over data to prove that they are not engaged in affirmative action, and allowing historically underprivileged communities like Black people to gain admission unless they have extremely high SAT scores. That's what they're doing to Brown University. But at the same time, they're pummeling all these universities for phony, bogus accusations of discrimination against one of the most privileged groups in world history, American Jews. They're setting up like a two-tiered system.
Pause there. I do want to show the Dearborn thing before we break.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as you're setting it up, Hazel, and thank you so much, Hazel. We're throwing all stuff at you. But yeah, I mean, that's such a good point. I mean, everything that could you mix everything that could possibly go wrong and put it all together? And that's the Trump administration. Who does he attack? Scientific research. I mean, my God, because they were protesting for Palestinian rights.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't. And yeah, I read a piece that, you know, there was the famous court case where you can burn an American flag. I mean, but you can't burn an Israel flag now because it's a hate crime.
Oh my God. I got to tell my dad about that. He's going to lose his shit.
It's a hate crime now. Yeah.
Yeah. Hazel had to dip out. So I don't know if we have that. If you could do it, Scott.
Oh, and which one is it?
It's about the Michigan Green Party. So
well, let's just talk
Dearborn
about it. Yeah, because
I haven't watched what you put.
Oh, okay.
But Dearborn, Jill did really, really well.
Right.
You know, it was a focus, but it was because of Gaza, you know, because neither party was gonna stop the genocide, and now we know that's true. But she came in East Dearborn like 30, I think it was like 30 votes from beating both of them.
Yeah.
So it's possible. We just need engagement.
Right.
We need you all to like understand it's here now. It's here now. Do you want this to be Gaza? Do you want that? Right. It's not out of the realm of possibility. The empire has gone nuts, and we have to defeat the empire to save our country.
Right. And you know, gay hero Pete Buttigieg says Israel has a right to defend itself. He is a product of the same system. So when they try to push him, or when they try to push Gavin Newsom in 2028, they are the same product of this horrific system. That's why Pete Buttigieg was pulled. He was a mayor of somewhere, and they just pulled him out one week, and everybody started talking about him, right? Okay, Indiana. And everybody started talking, you know, that's what I mean. These people don't ride, they're pulled out because they detect, this guy will do anything we want.
And I don't mean this about Indiana. I mean this about what he did there. He was a terrible mayor.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Terrible mayor. The people did not like him.
Right.
And if you remember correctly, I have a long memory for shenanigans. Was it the 2020 primary? The shadow app, Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden were found out that they funded the shadow app
that declared
so that was the quality control app that made the Bernie winning Iowa delayed until New Hampshire voted to ruin the momentum. They did everything they could.
Everything.
South Bend.
Yep.
Everything they could to make sure Bernie was not the nominee. I mean, it would have happened anyway because Bernie supporters in 2016 sued the DNC, and the court said, DNC, private institution, they can do whatever the hell they want.
And the lawyers for the Democratic Party said that too. That was their argument, that they're a private company. They can pick their candidate. They actually can't pick their candidate.
And then they did. In 2024, right?
They have for many rounds.
They canceled primaries on Biden.
Right.
And they also, whenever he stepped down, they anointed Miss Harris.
Right. So yeah.
Anyway, so thank you for being here, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Out on time.
Yeah,
please join your local Green Party, and don't expect them to have all the answers. You have to bring them.
Yes.
You see something that needs done, don't wait for others. Do it yourself.
And if you happen to be in Chicago, Rogers Park area, I'm actually playing with my band Afrofuturistics at 2:30 at the Glenwood Arts Festival. So local folks, if you want to come over and say hi. So
yeah, we are also artists. I think that's why we're passionate people. I like to do oil paintings.
There you go. Oh yeah. Oh God. Go to put your website in the link. It's fabulous. Fabulous.
It's just my name, ediearndell.com. Super
simple. There you go. All right.
And Sunday I'm going to hear Scott play. I can't wait. By the way, the outro music is Scott's. So everybody gets to hear him every week.
Yeah. You'll hear my voice in there.
Yeah. And join us on Wednesday. I think it might be Adam Churl.
Yes, I think
on
you're right.
Wednesday.
Yep.
Local DSA person. So I think that's
Okay.
going to be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be good to talk to. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Okay, everybody. Peace and
All right.
get out there and boycott and whatever you got to do.
I know.
Bye.
An uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising. Fight the power. It's an uprising. Fight the power.
That thing